So with the water loop, we've got two pumps. One is going straight into the CPU and straight back out of the CPU into there, and the other one is going into the radiator, through the radiator, into the Fury, out of the Fury, around that loop there, into the Pro Duo, then through the Pro Duo and out the Pro Duo and back into the reservoir again. So I'm out in the garage. I've got the 4-way Fury X, or the Pro Duo Fury X and the Fury, running Firestrike Ultra on the Threadripper 1950X, so I just wanted to see how it would do. And it's a bit strange at the moment because it seems to be not doing great. It's only getting about 60 FPS, which is what 3 cards should get. So it's only pulling 1280 watts at the wall, 1300-ish in GT1, and it should be pulling sort of 1300, 1400 watts. So basically I've got a card that's not doing anything, even though the GPU usage is pretty good across all the cards. So I'm not sure what's happening. But anyway, starting GT2 here. Running quad channel RAM on the Threadripper as well. You can see here we're only getting 40 FPS. Now it's gone up to 60 and it's only pulling 1000 watts. So I'm not sure what is up with it, because it's definitely enabled in 4-way. So it's a bit odd. Using the 1080 radiator again. And the Threadripper is actually a little bit faster than the 3800X in the CPU test, so that's nice. So you can see there it's getting, well, it was getting over 90 FPS, but it's dropped down to about 80. Oh, there we go, it's come back up to 90 now. Seems to vary quite a bit, which is strange. It's gone down to 70 now for literally like no reason, so it is a bit weird. Not entirely sure what's going on. It's almost like it's only using 3 GPUs rather than 4 in the GPU tests. But yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there. I'll have to have a bit more of a mess around with it. The other thing is as well, you can see there, that's in the combined test, it's only getting 20 FPS, which is pretty bad. The other thing as well is it takes ages to load the benchmark to start with as well. So there you go, only 11,000, not even 60 FPS in GT2. This should be around 100, and that should be around 60 to 70 FPS. But you can see the physics score is pretty good, so it's not ideal. Right, so it's just starting. I've got the on-screen display on, so we can see the GPU usage. Just about to start GT1. So it is going, and as you can see it's only pulling 1200 watts. Yet the GPU usage seems to be alright. So it looks like it's 100% on all but the last one there. So that is interesting. It does say, I think that's memory usage. Yeah, memory usage on one of the things is just over 2 gigabytes. And you can see the temperatures there as well, 34 degrees on the hottest one. And it's only getting 130 FPS, and it is only pulling 1200 watts, so even though it's saying the GPU usage, actually it's flickering a bit there, but even though it's saying it's 100% most of the time, it's not pulling that many watts at the wall, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway, we'll let it go to the end. You can see there I'm using the XSPC water block, and we've got 16 gigs of G.Skill memory and then 16 gigs of Patriot Viper, and then we're using the MSI Carbon Gaming Pro Wi-Fi AC, whatever it is. It's like one of the low-end MSI Threadripper boards basically, X399 first gen. So again we're getting almost 100% GPU usage, and it is pulling 1380 watts now, which is a little bit better. But you can see it dropped 50% there, so it's still not perfect. Getting a bit over 100 FPS. Back down to 1200 watts now, because it's only 50% GPU usage sometimes, which is a bit rubbish. Still about 1200 watts. It's very strange, the GPU usage just keep going up and down. And as you can see, the memory isn't actually maxed out because it's only using about 2 gigabytes. So it's going to do the CPU test now. The 1950X is 16 cores and it's at 4.1 gigahertz. Got the memory at I think 33 C14, which is just a bit above XMP. It's getting about 50 FPS at this point. Pulling nearly 600 watts from the wall. Just over 600 watts. Getting down to 30 FPS by the end of the benchmark there. And it should score about 11,000 on the CPU. Yep, just over 11,000. And just over 17,000 on the GPUs. So you can see there, everything's on, monitors are still on, and it's all been detected properly down here. It's got all of the cards listed and the CPU listed. However, if I save this file, we'll call it TM144, and then I'll go upstairs, upload the score. So I'm upstairs now, going to submit the file. So get on my memory stick here. So you can see there's the result we just saved, TM16144. Going to upload it to the 3D Mark website. In we go. Submit the score. And it's valid. That is spectacular. That is the first one that I've had that's valid. Typical, that works on video, which is excellent. That is good news actually, because that is literally the first one I've had that's valid. So that is nice, because if you look at my previous one which I ran earlier, it said the hardware monitoring was disabled, which is stupid, but it's alright now. So after my previous score actually validated in normal time spy, I'm going to have a go at Time Spy Extreme and see if that will work. And again, it is taking ages to load, so I'm not sure if this score is going to be valid or not. So I guess we'll find out. I'm guessing not, because it seems to be random, although when I film it, it works, and when I don't, it doesn't, so we'll see anyway. So I'll come back once it actually starts the benchmark. So it's literally been about 5 minutes, and it's just starting now. See how it does in the CPU test. I'm quite interested about this because the first gen Ryzen and Threadrippers don't have very good AVX support, and this uses the full fat AVX, so it might crash and it might also draw quite a lot of power. We'll see. It's at 40 degrees at the minute. I don't know if you can see the display there in the top corner or not. And we've started, it's at 61 degrees already as the CPU, and it's 75% usage. It's pulling over 600 watts from the wall. It's at 1.45 volts, and looking about 50 milliseconds at the bottom there because it doesn't measure in FPS in this benchmark. Still at 61 degrees on the CPU. And 75% usage pretty much all the way through. Still pulling over 600 watts, so I might be able to go a bit higher on the CPU. We'll see. I suspect overclocking the memory might help a bit as well in this test, because it's quite memory dependent. So it's getting about 50 milliseconds all the way to the end. Taking quite a long time to run though. See what score it gets. When it realises it's finished. Jesus, the lag. So 8,000 on the GPU and 6,800 on the CPU. So I don't really know if that's any good. I'll have to look at some other people's scores. So I'll save this score here, and hopefully it's valid, and then we'll go and submit it. So 8,564. Right, let's go and submit it and see if it's valid. So here we are again, back in my room at the main PC, and I've already loaded the file in there. Oops, that was a fail. There it is. Submit. And it says it's valid, but hardware monitoring was disabled, even though it's a valid score. But hopefully that's good enough hardware box. As you saw, the monitoring was not disabled, because as you can see it's got all the data from monitoring it. So anyway, there we go, valid score, job's a good one.